This is Lynn. I have started the recording. Jordan and I will continue to work tech and hopefully help get figure out some of our challenges here. So if I'm looking distracted, it's because I'm arguing with the computer. That sounds good to me.
Jordan, if you want me to take over working with Alicia so you can share, I can do
Oh,
that.
right.
Or if you
Um,
want to switch and I can share, I can do that too.
Let me just share real quick as I'm
Okay.
doing this.
Okay.
Thanks for flagging that.
No worries.
Okay. Alright. Everyone see that okay?
We can, thank you. And Jessica, are you okay to facilitate if
Y-
and until Alicia comes on?
yes. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining and for your patience as we worked through some technical difficulties. My name is Michaela Hennig. I'm the program manager for the Denver Human Services IDEAS program, joined by my colleagues Jordan Mulholland and Lynn Kuttner. I'm going to turn it over to Jessica Reichel, who is one of our co-chairs, a community appointed advisory council. Thanks, Jessica. We're on the first slide, cover slide.
Okay. Um, Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ideas Council, um, July 2026 public meeting. And IDEAS stands for Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Equitable Access to Services program, the IDEAS program. The mission is IDEAS partners with the community to manage local taxpayer dollars dedicated for Denver residents with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Sorry, my caregiver is here. I need to get the door. Hi. Shh, shh, puppy. Shh, shh. That's enough. I know. I know. It's exciting. Sorry about that. Um, you get. Okay, is it developmental? Where did I leave off? Uh-oh.
Michaela, Jessica,
Okay.
why don't you go ahead and start reading the mission again?
Okay, so restart the mission.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if it. Sorry.
Well, wherever feels good for
The
you. You're doing great.
the mission ideas partners with the community to manage local taxpayer dollars dedicated for residents with intellectual and developmental disabilities and developmental delay. And the vision, we strive to make Denver an inclusive community where people with IDD feel welcome, valued, and empowered to live the lives that they envision for themselves. The Ideas Advisory Council is an appointed group of Denver residents with lived experience with IDD, work in the field, or have a loved one with IDD. Meetings, we meet regularly to offer guidance to Denver Human Services on the needs and wants of Denverites with IDD. And then we have some ground rules, which is introduce yourself when you speak. And then please stay focused on topics that benefit people in Denver who have IDD. Respect and honor the Denver Code of Ethics. Please stay muted when you are not discussing or presenting. Please remain safe during meetings. If you need to leave, just rejoin when you are able. No AI or other note-taking accounts are allowed without prior approval by DHS. All meetings are public and recorded. Chats are posted publicly, so don't put anything that you don't want public. Votes will happen in the chat. Ensure that your chat is set to everyone. I need to do that. And then interpretation. Use the Zoom interpretation icon to switch back and forth to hear what is being said in either English or Spanish. If interpretation is not shown on your bottom panel, click More and select Interpretation from the list. Then the agenda, 1 to 115. Do I read that or?
Hey, Jessica, this is Michaela.
Yeah.
You're welcome to read it, or if you prefer, I can kind of just provide some highlights for folks of what topics we're going to touch on today.
Okay, I can read it.
Okay, go for it.
So the
Thank you.
agenda is first, welcome and approve minutes. 1:15 to 1:25 p.m. Is council and partner updates. 1:25 to 1:30 subcommittee report out. 1:30 to 1:35 breathing in uncertainty. 1:35 to 1:40 is our first break. 1:40 to 2:05 is a presentation by Denver Public Library Digital Navigator program. And then 2:05 to 2:10 is our second break. 2:10 to 2:30 is Voices Round 1 report. 2:30 to 2:50 is for public comment. Then 2:50 to 3 p.m. is planning for next meeting. So welcome everybody, as I already said. But we don't have enough to approve the minutes, right?
This is Lynn. Correct. At my count, we do not have a quorum.
Okay, so we
and just
have to just table that?
This is Michaela. I am working with one of your fellow council members. Chris is also having some technical difficulties getting on. So if we're able to get him in the meeting, we'll have a quorum. And
Okay.
Jessica, if it's all right with you as co-chair, maybe we could just revisit the minutes if and when we have the time, but then move
Okay.
forward for now.
Yeah.
Jessica, this is also Lynn. Alicia was able to join us, so now your co-chair is here as well. I saw Alicia just a moment ago.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Okay.
Hey,
Co-chairs are
Alicia.
here.
So do we have enough now to approve with Alicia here or no?
No, this is Michaela. We
Okay.
need one more person. We just wanted to let you know that
Okay.
you have a co-chair to share
Okay.
facilitation duties with now.
Okay. Okay. Do you want me to keep going through this first part, Alicia, or do you want to take over like we had planned? Or
If you can hear me, I could take over from here, Jessica. Thank you so much
okay.
for your patience.
You're welcome.
And good afternoon, everyone. Alicia Cooper, co-chair of IDEAS Advisory Council. And so we have the council member updates. Please keep updates brief. And for the benefit of Denver community members and those with IDD or developmental delay, avoid advertising individual interest. And if there are any updates, please share. Okay, I think I'll go first. Hello, everyone. This is Alicia Cooper. I am a light-skinned Black female with short crew cut hair today. The blue is fading out surely as it's going. Brown eyes. I have on a light blue tank top made out of linen material and light blue aquamarine earrings. I wanted to share today that I had the opportunity to host and MC the Denver Commission for People with Disabilities ADA celebration on July 13th and was able to connect with the audience in regards to our strengths and what our accomplishments were and to keep up the good fight. It's a great turnout. We had about 115 people, I think was the last number that I checked before we closed the doors. But that's my update. And if there aren't any more updates, I guess we can go to the next slide. Thank you, Jordan.
Hi,
May I
Alicia
say
or Jessica. This is Lynn.
Yeah.
So I'm not a council member, but IDEAS program staff, if that's okay to do an update now.
Yes.
So this is Lynn Cutner, she, her, part of the IDEAS program staff. Got long hair with some purple in there, glasses, wearing a black t-shirt, making serious faces because I'm arguing with technology. Just wanted to share a brief update that, and I thank you. We had several advisory council members who rotated off. The council, we had a very strong application pool of candidates that we're in the process of reviewing, and a big shout out to Alicia, Jessica, and Seth for participating as part of that review process. And that is it from me.
Thank you, Lynn.
this is Jessica. May I say something?
Sure, Jessica.
Okay. I just wanted to warn everybody. So, sorry, computer's talking. Okay. Here we go. I just wanted to kind of give everybody a warning to be very careful when if you use access on demand, because the prices can change really quick. So plan well, or maybe use Accessoride for one way of the trip or something like that to save money. I had an incident where when I paid for the ride, it said one price and then it was $10 more when I got home. That was not a cool thing. and I know they can change prices, like if they take longer or if a route changes or something, but I'd never had that happen before, so it was very much a rude awakening. So just be careful and plan well if you're going to use the access on demand, since we all have to pay now, partially anyways.
Thank you, Jessica. Lynn and Michaela, is this a time to speak about breathing in uncertainties, or is that another slide?
This is Lynn. I think it's in a couple more slides, but
Okay, then I will hold my peace until we get there. Thank you.
And Alicia and Jessica, this is Michaela. We do have quorum now. So Alicia, before you hopped on, we had gone past the agenda item to approve the minutes since that required a vote. But if you would all like to go back to that, we can get that out of the way now too, if that works for both of you and the rest of your council.
This is Alicia. That would be great. If we could get a motion to approve the minutes with revisions if needed.
This is Seth. I motion to approve.
Is there a second?
This is Jessica. I second.
Thank you. Our minutes have not been approved. Oh, I'm sorry. Vote in chat. All in favor, please vote in chat with yes.
Alicia, you're doing to host and panelist, and we're supposed to have it to everyone.
Thank you, Jessica. Let me put that in everywhere. Okay, got it. Are we waiting on one or two more now?
This is Michaela. Alicia, Alicia and Jessica, looks like you have 5 yeses in the chat, so you should be good to proceed with minutes approved.
hi, this is Lynn. I believe 2 of those yeses are both Alicia.
Yes.
Switching over is Adriana. I think might be our missing vote. You know, Adriana came in a little bit late, so if she's caught up and ready to do the vote. Yes, and there we have it. There's the 5th vote.
And do we now have quorum?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Then the minutes have been approved. Thank you all. Okay. Next, you all, we have the Community Advisory Council member report out. The updates from the Rocky Mountain Human Services Community Advisory Council member and the RMHS delegate.
Hello, that's me. This is Seth. There were two meetings that we had. In May, we had a presentation from Access Gallery, which is a kind of a day program that specializes in it's kind of a day program that specializes in art, and they serve about 70 individuals in Denver. And they offer weekly workshops, and they facilitate a lot of community engagement through like artist-led sessions. And they do lots of monthly field trips that focus on local arts experiences. So we got kind of an update on that program. Um, Also, RMHS released their annual mill levy report, which maybe I can link here in the chat in a moment. Um, and then we had another meeting in June. Hold on, let me pull up my notes here. And at that meeting, we had a presentation from Jewish Family Services. They run this program called the Retail Services Certification Program, where they go into DPS transition age programs like 18 to 21, and they teach retail job skills. So they were talking about the success of that program and how they're adapting that material for IDD individuals and focusing a lot more on like hands-on practice instead of book work. And then we also had a presentation from Wonder Years, which is another supported employment provider who specialize in individuals with who are neurodivergent. And then Abby gave a presentation on individual request sustainability. So, which she said is kind of like they're kind of have pre-approved like Amazon shopping menus or lists that have things that families often requests for kids, like adaptive equipment and things like that. And they're starting to kind of provide these lists to families who are looking for materials for their kids. And I think it's just kind of helping to um, streamline the request process because all those items are pre-approved and a family can just go in and say, "Oh, I want that and that," and it just makes it a much faster process for those individual requests for kids. Um, and yeah, I think that's the main points from those two meetings. I will link their annual report in the chat when I have a moment. But yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you, Seth. This is Alicia. Okay, next we have the subcommittees report outs. Are there any updates from our subcommittees?
Hello, this is Seth again. I can report on the Justice Transitions Committee. So meeting we had, I believe in June, or maybe it was end of May, but we had a presentation of two new initiatives that have started around housing and which may help with the justice transition kind of goal of, helping people coming out of jail and trying to re-enter the community. And one is Jewish Family Services Rapid Rehousing Program, which I believe is the new kind of program that Bayard Services was doing, their Be Home program. And that's kind of just getting off the ground now. I think they're starting to take referrals, but they have some kind of aggressive initiatives to get people rehoused quickly. And then the other one is the Include program, which I believe is through Rocky Mountain Human Services and that's a resource for housing stability, which is also kind of what Be Home was doing, but I think it's kind of broken up now into JFS doing rehousing and Rocky Mountain Human Services doing housing stability. So in that meeting with the Justice Transition team, we kind of talked how that's helpful for individuals coming out of the justice system, but we still have that missing piece of like care needs. It's not all about housing. It's about, having services and supports in the home. So we kind of discussed the importance of that in addition to having somewhere to live. And we talked about kind of the host home setting as kind of the ideal kind of combination of both care, supervision, along with like housing. So that's kind of a summary of what I remember from that subcommittee meeting.
This is Alicia. Thank you, Seth. Are there any other updates with the subcommittees?
This is Jordan. I don't think there were any other subcommittees that met this last month.
This is Michaela. I believe you're correct.
Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, Jordan. All right, moving right along. Here's where I was starting about a few slides back. Breathe in and uncertainty. This is an opportunity to reflect upon current affairs mindfully and intentionally. Please keep this time human, but also professional. This is Alicia. I would like to go first, and then I'll pass the mic to the next individuals. In this time, I noticed that a lot of registrations and asks of the disability community to identify themselves living with a disability. And with the current climate that is occurring, with Congress asking for institutionalizations and things of that nature, I'm noticing that our community, we're having a bit of a problem with serving our community members because they don't want to identify as. And so while I understand that this may be a struggle, to just think wisely and try to take care of yourself as best as possible. And that means just, if you need to go to the hospital or have someone take you or see a doctor, what have you, to do so, take care of yourself as best you can. And rely on your friends and family to make sure that you're safe. This is where we as community members should lean in more, I believe, to protect each other and to support one another as we get through these days of uncertainty. And so that I'm hoping that everyone stays safe in these matters. And I'm going to pass it along.
This is Jessica. Um, okay, I guess I would just say I agree with Alicia and make sure that you, if you are struggling, that you reach out, and also look for ways that you can enjoy life, even when it is difficult. There's something that we can find.
If there aren't any more shares, if it's okay, we can move to the next slide.
Alicia, this is Michaela. I just wanted to check in real quick to make sure that Adriana, are you able to access the interpretation channel okay?
See? Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Alicia. Please go ahead and proceed.
Okay, who's ready for a break? We will have the next 5 minutes. Please come back and resume at the participated noted time.
I think we would come back at 1:45.
Yes, thank you, Jessica.
And while that is happening, this is Lynn with just our library presenters who should all have gotten a little notification to please accept. Alrighty. Thank you, Jessica, and thank you for Alicia for leading us into a break.
Um, Hi, everybody. This is Jessica, and I think we're good to come back from our break. Is everybody back and ready to go?
This is
Yes.
Michaela here.
Okay. Okay, so the presentation today is from the Denver Public Library Digital Navigator program.
Thanks, Jessica. This is Lynn. I'm going to do a brief intro before handing it off to our partners at the library, and just wanted to provide very briefly some background. The IDEAS program has been working with the Denver Public Library since 2023, and this comes directly from an IDEAS Advisory Council recommendation back in May 2021. The council members made a recommendation to improve technology, device access, digital equity, and supportive services. I was tasked with trying to take that from a recommendation to an implementation, and doing research on who was already working in the space. Very quickly discovered that the Denver Public Library has a very robust technology program that meets several of these different areas. So at that point, I'm going to hand it over to the library team. Library folks, when you're ready to change slides, Jordan is driving the slides. Just let Jordan know. And also a note, the Denver Public Library team, I believe, is still planning on presenting in both English and Spanish, correct? I'm seeing nodding.
Yes.
So for this portion, if people who are accessing the Spanish translation want to switch to original audio, you're welcome to do that. And at that, I don't know who's leading off for the library, so handing off to our library partners, and please let Jordan know about moving slides. There you go. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin Peterson, and I am the Technology Education Program Manager for Denver Public Library, which means I kind of oversee a bunch of the different technology education that we do here, including classes, programs, and the Digital Navigator program that we're going to be speaking about a little bit later here as well. So if I can have the next slide, please. So one thing I always like to highlight when we're talking about digital inclusion in the library is a service that is available in all of our library locations. We have publicly accessible computers that offer free Wi-Fi, printing, and faxing. And there's a variety of other types of technologies that are available at select libraries as well. So like the Central Library has a Braille printer. Many of the locations have ADA devices as well and computers that are accessible for people to use as well. And then that free Wi-Fi is available 24/7. So even if you're not able to be in the building, but you are around the building, you can access that anytime that you need it. So those are things that are available anywhere at any of our 27 locations. Next slide, please.
This is Jordan. Just wanted to
Yes.
clarify, were you going to also translate these slides into Spanish verbally?
I'm so sorry. Yes, Diana, I
Okay.
apologize. If you could do,
Okay.
thank you for the reminder.
En la Biblioteca Pública de Denver ofrecemos acceso gratuito a la tecnología para ayudar a reducir la brecha digital. Los usuarios pueden utilizar computadoras públicas, incluyendo computadoras accesibles para personas virtuales y físicas. Estas computadoras accesibles están disponibles en la Biblioteca Central, Blair Caldwell y Rodolfo Corqui González. También ofrecemos Wi-Fi, impresión y envío de fax gratuitos. Además, los usuarios pueden utilizar computadoras de escritorio, Chromebooks, computadoras portátiles disponibles para usar dentro de la Wi-Fi gratuito en todas las sucursales de DPL, que tenemos 27 locaciones. Next slide.
Another thing I would like to highlight is our IDEA labs, which are spaces in our Central, Hadley, Hamden, Montbello, which is currently in a remodel, Corky Gonzalez, and Sam Gary locations. And here there is access to a variety of tools and just opportunities to explore, in addition to some programming on sewing, 3D printing, laser cutting. It's just an opportunity for the community to try a variety of things and do a variety of creative projects without necessarily having to pay for those activities up front. Anyone is welcome to come use those spaces. All of the labs, have open hours in the afternoons where people can come in and try. And then there are also intentional classes where people can learn how to use those tools. So it's really a fantastic time. It's all ages. Some of the programming that occurs might be more slanted towards children, more towards adults. But there's a lot of different opportunities to learn and explore with a variety of tools.
Los Idea Labs ofrecen acceso a tecnologías creativas y capacitación práctica. Ahí pueden aprender a usar herramientas como máquinas de coser, impresores láser. Actualmente, los Idea Labs están disponibles en la Biblioteca Central, Hadley, Hamden, Montbello, González y Sam Gary. Ofrecen horas abiertas en las tardes encima de programas para el público. Next slide.
And then we also offer a variety of technology education programming at all of our locations. Some locations have classes. Some have classes where people can learn about a variety of tools or resources or just how to access them. We offer one-on-one tech help appointments, which is meeting with a staff member at a location to learn a specific skill or gain some knowledge about a specific tool. There's also drop-in tech help. So if you have a device that you're learning how to use, have a one-off question, you just want to be able to sit down with someone and learn more about it, learn how to use that. A lot of library locations also offer drop-in sessions. And then we have our digital navigator program. And I'm going to let Diana talk more about that in a moment here. She is one of our navigators. But there's a variety of options and opportunities to learn about technology through the Denver Public Library, all of which are free, no registration required. For any of those offerings, we don't collect any real information about people who attend. It's just an opportunity to come and learn about these tools for free in the community.
Además de los Idea Labs, DPL también ofrece varias oportunidades para aprender a usar la tecnología. Ofrecemos clases de tecnología, citas individuales de ayuda tecnológica y nuestros servicios de navegadores digitales para brindar apoyo personalizado. Todos estos servicios son gratuitos. No requerimos información para poder recibir estos servicios. Y bueno, en el siguiente voy a hablar un poquito más de qué hace un navegador digital. So we can move on to the next slide. Siguiente, por favor. So what is a digital navigator? ¿Qué es un navegador digital? So yes, I am one of the digital navigators on the team. I am the IDD Digital Navigator, and digital navigators help people with everyday technology. We help people learn how to use computers, phones, the internet. We can also help people find affordable internet and devices and teach basic digital skills while answering technology questions. Our goal is to help people feel more confident and independent using technology. Mi nombre es Diana, soy navegadora digital para personas con discapacidades intelectuales y del desarrollo, em, en donde ayudamos a las personas con la tecnología del día a día. Ayudamos a aprender a usar computadoras, teléfonos, el internet. También ayudamos a encontrar internet y dispositivos asequibles. Enseñamos habilidades digitales básicas y respondemos a preguntas sobre la tecnología. Nuestro objetivo es que las personas se sientan más seguras e independientes al usar la tecnología. Next slide, please. Siguiente, por favor. All of our services are free and there are no requirements to receive help. We recommend scheduling a one service, but walk-ins are welcome as availability permits. We offer these services 7 days a week at multiple DPO locations. Todos nuestros servicios son gratuitos y no hay requisitos para recibir ayuda. Recomendamos programar una cita individual para garantizar el servicio, pero también atendemos visitas según disponibilidad. Ofrecemos estos servicios los 7 días de la semana en varias sucursales de DPL. Next slide, please. Siguiente, por favor. Digital navigators are available at these library locations throughout Denver, as well as at several Denver Housing Authority locations. If you're not sure,
On your third tablet? Back up. I'm trying to figure back out because my
Oh, okay. So I'm still on the previous slide. Todavía estoy en el, thank you. So if you're not sure which location is closest to you, we're happy to help you find the most convenient one. Los navegadores digitales están disponibles en estas sucursales de la Biblioteca Pública de Denver, así como en varias ubicaciones de la Autoridad de Vivienda de Denver. Si no saben cuál le queda más cerca, con gusto les ayudamos a encontrar la ubicación. Next slide, please. Siguiente, por favor. We also want to highlight the work that we're doing to better support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We're continuing to build staff knowledge through training, strengthen partnerships with organizations in the community, and improve the support we provide. También queremos destacar el trabajo que estamos realizando para apoyar mejor a las personas con discapacidades intelectuales y del desarrollo. Seguimos fortaleciendo los conocimientos de nuestro personal mediante capacitación, colaborando con organizaciones de la comunidad y mejorando el apoyo que brindamos. For example, one of the customers that I work with is returning to school this August. So we recently explored Google Gemini together, discussed the benefits and limitations of AI, and practiced using voice prompts because tremors make typing difficult. I also provide printed step-by-step guides and appointment reminders to support memory. And we gave them a stylus to make using their device easier. So at the next session, we'll be practicing Zoom so that they feel more prepared to start classes. Por ejemplo, una de las personas con las que trabajo regresará a la escuela este agosto. Exploramos Google Gemini, hablamos sobre las ventajas y limitaciones de la inteligencia artificial y practicamos el uso de comandos de voz porque los temblores le dificultan escribir. También le proporciono guías impresas con instrucciones paso a paso y recordatorios de sus citas para apoyar su memoria. También le dimos un lápiz táctil para que le resulte más fácil usar su dispositivo. En nuestra próxima cita practicaremos Zoom para que se sienta más preparado para comenzar las clases. Next slide, please. Siguiente, por favor. Thank you for taking the time to learn about the digital inclusion services available at Denver Public Library. Gracias por tomarse el tiempo de inclusión digital que ofrece la Biblioteca Pública de Denver. Whether you're looking for technology classes, digital skills training, creative technology opportunities, or one-on-one support, we're here to help. Ya sea que necesite acceso a tecnología, clase de habilidades digitales, oportunidades para aprender tecnologías creativas o apoyo tecnológico individual, estamos aquí para ayudarle. If you or someone you know could benefit from these services, please call us, email us, or speak with staff at any DPL location to schedule an appointment. We'd also appreciate your help with sharing this information so more people in the community know that these resources are available. Si usted o alguien que conoce puede beneficiarse de estos servicios gratuitos, llámenos, envíenos un correo electrónico o hable con el personal de cualquier biblioteca de DPL para programar una cita. También les agradecemos que compartan esta información para que más personas conozcan estos recursos. Thank you. Gracias. And,
This is Lynn with a very big thank you. We have time for some questions if any of the advisory council members have questions for any of the members of the library team. We may need to switch back. I am not fluent, so we may need to switch back to the Spanish interpretation for question and answer. Nothing. Everyone's being very quiet today. I think it's the
I
heat.
know it's hot outside, man. This is Alicia.
Hi, Alicia. Did you have a question?
I actually more of a statement.
Okay.
I have been more and more impressed with the Denver library system. Every time I come in contact with staff members and the programs that you all talk about. It is just amazing how more inclusive it's becoming. And I just wanted to say thank you for all your hard work and effort to to see people where they and meet them where they are. It's a great. It just feels really great. I've been around a few library systems throughout the country, and this is one of the top tier ones for me. So thank you. Go ahead, Seth.
Hello, this is Seth. I just had a question. How many of the navigators are bilingual?
So it is currently 3 of us that that are bilingual, speak English and Spanish.
Thank you.
We can also meet with people who are non-native English, non-Spanish speakers as well. We just use our translation line. So the appointments might be a little longer, but we can accommodate that, and we'll still try to provide services for someone even if they don't speak either English or Spanish.
Okay, very cool. Thank you.
I see Michaela with a hand up.
Hi all, this is Michaela. Anna, and everyone from the library, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so great to be able to meet you and hear about the work that you're doing. This question is actually for our advisory council members. I'm curious if any of you can think of community groups or organizations specific to the IDD community that might enjoy hearing from Diana and one of her colleagues about the digital inclusion services through like a presentation or other type of outreach event.
Hi, this is Alicia. Particularly just in general, not only IDD, but with people with disabilities all the way around. I know that the Commission for People with Disabilities, would love to have you all come and speak about the new technology as we're trying to make sure that everyone understands the intersectionality of disability. This will be a great opportunity, especially around communications. We've been building on that for quite some time now.
And
That is, yeah.
for the library folks, we can help facilitate that connection. Last call for any questions?
Like Jessica, did you have your hand up?
Yeah. This is Jessica, and I just wanted to say I'm excited. And thank you for presenting to us. But also, what about day programs?
Mm-hmm.
Or at least to the staff?
That is a great suggestion, Jessica. We can follow up with the library team and discuss possibilities there. That's a really great suggestion, Jessica.
Thank you.
This is Michaela.
I'm
Thank you,
seeing in the
Jessica.
chat some we'd love to, and that's a great idea, and I agree. So you've got a very positive response to that, Jessica. And the IDEAS staff will work with the library to help facilitate making some of those things happen.
And Jessica, if there are any in
is it-
particular that you can think of, please don't hesitate to let us know.
Well, I go to Spectrum.
Okay, that was pretty
I know
direct.
I know there's others out there, but I go to Spectrum, and I know there's like Continuum, I think is another one. I can't think of any others off the top of my head.
Thanks so much, Jessica.
You're welcome.
Well, in the interest of keeping us sort of on time, this is Lynn. I want to extend a big thank you to the library team for being here. For our advisory council members, it'd be great if you can help get out the word in your communities, your networks, your friends, let them know that these resources exist, and we can follow up with outreach to various different organizations in the community. So back to, I think, Alicia or Jessica, what are instructions for a break?
It's to me. Can I ask one quick question before we?
Yeah, sure.
I was just wondering, like, if stop talking, computer. Okay, sorry. I was just wondering, like, if somebody wants to work on something specific, do they have to bring their own device, like, to the library, or does the library, like, do they have plenty of options for people to use directly there?
Thank you for asking that. That's a great question. This is Caitlin again from the library. It really depends, but we do have devices folks can use. So laptops. I mean, if someone is wanting to work on a specific thing on their own phone, it's best if they bring their own device with them. But if that's not an option, we've worked on folks with on desktops, on laptops. We have devices we can help people with on site too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I would say if there's nothing else that we can take a break. and come back at 2:15.
Thank you.
And then Alicia, you're up.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Hi, everybody. This is Jessica. And just welcome everybody back from break. And then Alicia, you're up if you're okay with that.
Thank you, Jessica. This is Alicia. Yes, I'm ready if everyone's available to continue.
Well, Alicia, this is Lynn. I'm up next, and I'm ready when we have folks kind of back at their computers and devices.
All right, I'm ready.
All righty. Hi, this is Lynn again with Denver Human Services, and I have the honor of presenting a status update on our recently completed round one of the Voices mini grants. And this is really a very large group effort on behalf of the entire IDEAS team, Corey, who was originated this, and as well as a lot of other members. So I'm just speaking on behalf of a large group of people. Just as background, the Voices mini grant came from an IDEAS Advisory Council recommendation in 2023. The original recommendation was DHS will explore potential programs for empowerment, self-advocacy, identity, and choice for people with IDD in various events, trainings, and other potential modes of inclusion. That led us to the creation of a mini grants program. Voices spelled out is vital opportunities for inclusion, choice, empowerment, and self-advocacy. I'm going to refer to it as Voices Round 1. We have a second round of Voices that is kicking off soon. So the first round of the grants, mini grants, was from April 2025 to March 2026. We awarded 10 grants for a total award amount of just under $440,000. There were 10 different programs, which have been listed there on the slide. And next slide. One of the things that's very exciting about the Voices mini grant program is that it needs to serve a public purpose of benefiting people in Denver with IDD, inclusion, community involvement, but how people choose to do that is very broad. Of the 10 awardees for the first round of the Voices mini grants, we funded activities, everything from helping support a inclusive models and designers for Denver Fashion Week. Quite a number of different kind of community engagement, training, workshop classes, music, helping various programs improve their systems, helping improve resources for disability rights. So it's a very exciting, very diverse type of programs that are being funded off of this mini grant. Just a very quick overview from the first round of the Voices mini grant. Direct service to 473 people with IDD, another 2,000 people who are caregivers or families or providers. And a number of the Voices activities were very broad access to the community, including bringing the autism community store sensory friendly van and century-friendly bus and tent to big public events, including like Denver Pride. So very, very broad indirect community benefit, having a lot of visibility out in the community. We were able to provide services reaching for people across a good portion of Denver, and have listed neighborhoods with 5 or more participants. And just a note of this, as Alicia alluded to earlier, we understand there's a lot of sensitivity and reluctance to providing personal information for things like surveys. So some of the information about where participants live, what neighborhood they were lived in, was provided voluntarily, and we didn't collect anybody's personal information or names with that. And it was also optional. So of the 2,500 people and families that participated, it was optional for people to provide information about their neighborhood. But this gives us a really good idea that the services that are funded through the mini grants are reaching people fairly broadly across all of Denver. Next slide, please. We did a survey that again was optional, where participants were invited to complete a survey about the services, if the services met their needs, whether or not the various programs helped them increase their feeling of belongings, helped their connections to community, meeting their goals and interests. Oh, you're on the right side. And overwhelmingly, very positive response from the participants of the benefits from participating in these various IDEAS mini grant funded programs. Next slide, please. Some of the different things that we saw in the surveys. I'm going to do some highlights here and not read through the whole thing, but a lot of very strong themes of increasing confidence, increasing self-esteem, fostering empowerment, really important, very exciting positive benefits to the people who participated in these programs, learning skills, a lot of mentorship. At least one of the programs, I'm going to say 1 or 2 of the programs, involved some career development pathways, a lot of strong community connections, and also hearing from the organizations themselves of being able to increase those organizations' connections with other organizations across the community, both within the IDD community, other IDD providers, as well as more broadly across Denver. So helping strengthen just the overall resources and network across all of Denver. Next slide, please. Sharing a couple of responses back from participants in different programs. And it was really nice to hear. The first one was a response from one of the grantees about jumpstarting a new program, and with plans to continue that into the future. Hearing very positive responses from participants about new experiences, trying new things, more power, more self-confidence, and also very importantly, hearing from participants that they had fun. So it's not just about reaching goals. It's also important to go out there and have a good time. I think next slide. Before I move into talking about the what's next, are there any questions about the Voices mini grants that recently wrapped up? This might be a good place to pause and ask some questions. This is a very uncharacteristically quiet group today. Well, I'm going to move on to talking about sort of the what next, and we still have plenty of space at the end to ask questions about either the recently concluded Voices mini grants. Asking questions about the future is going to be a bit limited because that's in progress. But based on the success of the first round of doing a Voices mini grant program, Denver Human Services agreed to that we wanted to do it again. We had an application for, we're calling it Voices 2026, that closed in May. Total award amount will be not to exceed $200,000. And really all I can say at this point in time is the announcements will be coming soon. Michaela or Jordan, anything that you want to add for Voices?
This is Michaela. I just want to recognize Lynn for all of her hard work on this program. It's involved a lot of conversations, facilitation with multiple partners, and providing really excellent support to let these programs thrive and think of new and creative ways to get these dollars out into the community. So just big kudos to you, Lynn. And to thank you for all of you who have kind of helped weigh in on our questions and processes as we roll out this new pilot program. I'm really grateful for all of your input.
Advisory Council, anything from your end of things?
I think I just lost my thought. This is
I
Elise.
completely understand. I think we're all in that same space.
Again, I think this is one of the programs, one of my favorite programs that I see come across the screen when we have different organizations, expressing change in such a creative way. But thank you, Lynn, for that report. I mean, it's spot on per usual. I'm excited to see who the winners are going to be.
Hey, this is Seth. I had a question, Lynn. Are you seeing a lot of like interest in applications? Or are we like seeing growing interest as the grant program has been around or?
Yes. I mean, one of the things that's interesting for the Voices 2026, the applications did close back in May. And one of the things that I think is really interesting and exciting to us is seeing applications from new organizations that we haven't worked with before, organizations that aren't necessarily that are working on expanding and wanting to do a better job of providing services to the IDD community in Denver, or organizations that are already working in the space, but there are organizations that maybe the IDEAS program has not yet been working with. So the word is out. I'm not saying a lot because we're in that space where I can't say a lot until public announcements are made. But yeah, so it's I think that's fair to say, Michaela. I'm safe to say that it's interesting. It's exciting to see applications coming in from organizations that we haven't been working with previously. And the review panel was definitely faced a lot of really big challenges. Michaela, is that good? Anything else I don't think I can really, but expanding our reach, expanding knowledge, expanding connections in the community is pretty exciting.
This is Michaela. I also wanted to note, I see that we've got a member of the public that has raised their hand and wanted to thank you so much for your engagement. Unfortunately, due to some tech security problems that we've had in past meetings, we had to really tighten up our meeting protocol to create a safe digital space for all of us. So engagement by talking or appearing on camera is limited to staff, guest presenters, and advisory council members at this time. Doesn't mean that we don't want to hear from you, of course. So if you have a question, we'd be more than happy to answer that offline. You can email us at IDDEAS, IDDEAS at denvergov.org. Or you can go online and sign up to submit public comment at our next meeting, which will be at the end of September. I'll go ahead and post that. Actually, that probably wouldn't work to post that in the chat because I believe that everyone can still see that, the link to submit public comment. So thanks again for your interest, and please don't know that we're not intentionally ignoring you.
Hey, Michaela.
Sorry about that.
This is Seth. I just had a question surrounding that. Is it possible to take questions like through chat, or is that also problematic in the past?
Yeah.
We currently have chat disabled
Mhm.
for security reasons, based on some previous history.
We did a pretty deep dive after a Zoom bombing event a couple of years ago, and we're trying to look for ways that we could kind of shore up security and limit any like technological weak spots where bad actors might be able to come in and take over the meeting. So that was one of the recommendations that we got from our tech folks, unfortunately. So we're just kind of trying to balance that a little bit.
So is that something in the future that we might be able to open it up again to public comment?
mm,
I think especially since we've gone to, bi-monthly meetings,
mhm,
it's hard to ask people to sit on their questions for 2 months,
mhm.
So I'm just
No,
curious if
yeah, I can take that back to our tech services and legal teams and see what their thoughts are on that. If that's something that the council is encouraging. Um, sorry, where was I going with that? Oh, I was also going to say too, and definitely if folks want to have a question answered by a member of the DHS staff, they can always contact us directly in between meetings. I don't need to wait to reach out with a question until the next meeting. That's always an option as well. But yeah, we do know it's been a little bit more time from meeting to meeting now. So I will follow up on that and get back to you.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I had the pleasure to do some of the interviews for,
Mm,
people in the community who want to be
mhm,
council members, and I just realized there's lots of people out there who want to share their voice, and I'm just kind of wondering how do we invite that kind of continual public
mhm.
feedback into our meetings?
Yeah, no, thanks for that input. And I saw our division director, Whitney Nettleton, has put into the chat. It might be good to have this as an upcoming agenda item for discussion by the whole council. So if that's something you all want to identify when we talk about what we're discussing in our next meeting, we can certainly do that, and I'll be able to kind of do a little bit of research and legwork between now and then to figure out kind of what any sort of pros and cons might be in terms of security, kind of how free speech laws play into that, and bring that so that you can have an informed discussion.
Yeah, that would be great.
This is Lynn. Well, thank you all again. If you remember a question later, please feel free to reach out to either me directly or through that ideas email box. And as I said, it's kind of a announcement coming soon for the next round of Voices mini grant recipients. So I think
This
we
is
hand it off. Oh, sorry, Jessica.
I
Yeah.
was can you see me okay?
Yes.
Okay, because I was trying to raise my hand,
Oh,
but
sorry. I
I
have too many windows open, so that's my
oh
fault.
okay. I just had a question. I was curious, how did the grants serve like caregivers?
Ooh, I think it really depended on the mini grant. That
Because it's like
is
5 times the amount of caregivers that got served versus people with IDD, and I mean that's not a problem. But I'm just curious how, like how they were served, like what served them.
really, really good question. And we had such a broad range of types of programs. For example, Disability Justice was improved their resources and did workshops to help navigate different systems and know your rights. So, like the majority of the participants in, say, a disability justice workshop would be the family and caregivers. For something
Oh,
like the
okay.
fashion show, there's the people who were directly participating in the fashion show as models, as well as their family members who were supporting the process, attending the fashion show, and benefiting from seeing their family member go through the process. We had one of them was more targeted to specifically to caregivers and helping caregivers with wraparound services. So I think it was really broad depending on the type of program. And that's also a
Uh-huh.
really nice thing with the mini grants is that flexibility of the types of programs that were being provided. Does that help, Jessica?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I was just curious.
No, it's an excellent
Thank you.
question. So some of the programs, their primary target was more the individual, the person with IDD. Some of them were a little bit more like a workshop. Know Your Rights is a little bit more targeted towards, say, a parent or a caregiver. And often, if you have one individual, there might be, for example, multiple parents and caregivers that
Yeah.
are part of their personal
Mhm.
community that are also benefiting from the program.
Uh-huh.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, great
Yeah.
question. Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This is Alicia. And now we have time for public comment. If you would like to uh, submit the public comment, please email ideas at divergov.org or use our IAC public comment submission form. Commenters have up to 3 minutes total to make their comment. Comments must be approved beforehand and commenters must remain on topic. The comments must also be relevant to Denver residents with IDD or developmental delay, remain respectful, and do not disrupt the business of the council. And now opening the floor for public comment.
Hi, everyone. This is Michaela Hennig. We had one member of the public sign up to provide public comment this month. Unfortunately, she emailed me earlier today stating that she wouldn't be able to make the meeting and asked that we read her public comment on her behalf. So I have it here and I will go ahead and read it. Monica stated, As a mother and full-time caregiver of an adult son with special needs, I have seen first. Is everyone good? Okay. I have seen firsthand how important these services are. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me read the title of her comment. I think that'll make more sense. She says, the title is Public Comment in Support of Continued Mill Levy Funding for In-Home Personal Fitness Services for Adults with Disabilities. She says, as a mother and full-time caregiver of an adult son with special needs, I've seen firsthand how important these services are. I understand the daily challenges that individuals with disabilities and their families face, and I know that access to fitness and wellness programs is not something that can simply be replaced if funding is lost. For many adults with disabilities, going to the gym is not realistic. Transportation barriers, physical limitations, anxiety, sensory challenges, and the need for individualized support make community fitness programs inaccessible. Having a trained fitness professional come into the home provides a safe, comfortable, and consistent environment where they can exercise and thrive. These services are far more than exercise sessions. They improve strength, balance, mobility, and overall health while also increasing confidence, reducing isolation, and promoting emotional well-being. Most importantly, they help individuals maintain their independence and remain active participants in their communities. As a caregiver, I know how difficult it is to find meaningful, supportive programs that truly meet the needs of adults with disabilities. Losing this funding would mean taking away opportunities that many of our loved ones rely on to stay healthy and engaged. It would also place additional stress on families and could ultimately lead to increased medical needs and higher costs to our community. Adults with disabilities deserve the same opportunity to live healthy, fulfilling lives as everyone else. Continued mill levy funding for in-home personal fitness services is an investment in their health, independence, dignity, and quality of life. I respectfully ask you to continue supporting and funding these essential services for adults with disabilities and their families. Thank you for your consideration and for recognizing the value and importance of these programs. That was Monica's comment. And then I don't believe if we have any other comments this month.
Hi, this is Lynn. No, I have not seen any other comments come in.
And as always, if the council wants to engage in further discussion about a public comment topic that is brought to our meetings or any other questions or concerns that are arise during the meeting, just as Seth kind of proposed revisiting some of our security protocol rules regarding engagement of the public in these meetings, we can always identify those at the end of our meetings to put on the agenda for the next session. Okay. All right. So I will hand it back to our co-chairs to talk about the next meetings ahead, and happy to hop in, Alicia and Jessica, whenever you'd like me to, as needed.
Thank you, Michaela. This is Alicia. Planning ahead, looks like our next meeting is going to be September 29th. And then November 17th, 1 week early, so that we can enjoy our Thanksgiving holidays. Our subcommittees can meet in August, October, and December. Do we have any questions or comments in regards to what to look forward to in our September meeting?
This is Seth again. I would love to have that conversation, Michaela, just about how can we get more community engagement and more public comment, because I think that's important part of what we do. And we talk a lot about about a lot during each meeting, and it would be nice if people could kind of chime in a little bit more in real time in a safe way. I don't know if that's a tech issue as well, but I'd be interested to have a bigger conversation and see what other council members think of that.
Sounds great.
Thank you, Seth. Are there any additional comments or suggestions for our upcoming meeting?
This is Michaela, and just a reminder that you all can feel free to suggest any topic if you want to hear more about a certain program that we're funding. You can let us know that. If you want to hear more about our budget overall, if you want to hear more, if you want to like engage in a discussion where you're telling us at DHS about needs you are seeing in the community or emerging issues, you can suggest that. We're open to any ideas or suggestions. This is your council.
Okay, this is an extremely quiet group today. I know it's 1,000 degrees outside, and we're all trying to stay cool, calm, and positive. But I wanted to thank everyone for taking time out to meet with us today and sharing this space to have wonderful conversation. Should we take a motion to, that's early. Geez, we have 12 more minutes. Are we all done? This would be a first, at least in my tenure.
It would be the first here since I've been on too.
Okay, well, I don't mind first. I think it's great. And so if there aren't any more comments, questions, concerns.
But there is the question of if people want to consider any in-person meetings.
Oh, thank you, Jessica.
Mhm.
Would we like to consider an in-person meeting for September 29th?
I don't think it's like specific, but
Oh,
just questioning if people are interested in doing in person, but it would be just in person. It wouldn't be hybrid.
thank you, Jessica. Are there any interest in in-person meeting?
I would be. I think it's so much fun.
Maybe we could see each other for a little while. It's been a while. Thank you, Diana, for agreeing with Jessica and I.
But it doesn't have to be like just the council official meetings either. It can be to do something fun or something.
This is Seth. I'd be up for an in-person meeting. Would it still be recorded and everything, Michaela?
Would. And this could be maybe something we can discuss. Let me kind of explain my thinking to you all. We've had 2 hybrid meetings so far. And I'll be honest with y'all, getting the technology to work has been nothing short of a Hail Mary miracle pass at like the 11th hour. And not even our tech support people were really sure how they made it happen last time. And so my hesitation about doing a hybrid meeting again is that if we're not able to get the technology to work and we don't have a quorum, because we're relying on quorum from people that are trying to participate virtually, then we can't hold the meeting. So we just got some guidance from our attorney, who said that we actually can't proceed with the meeting without a quorum, even if we're not voting on anything. So we would just have to end that meeting. And out of respect for all yours time, I would certainly not want to do that at all. So I think that's sort of, we'd either have to, hold a hybrid meeting, understanding that that's a possibility, that the technology might not work. Or we could do a fully in-person meeting and make sure that everyone could commit to being there in person. Or we could do one more virtual meeting in September, and kind of hash that out a little bit more thoroughly and decide how we want to do it moving forward. And hopefully by that time too, you'll have 3 new council members that can be part of that discussion as well.
Yeah, I guess one question I have too is just like, do people show up for those in person in the way they might virtually? Like members of the community and people who can just easily hop
Mm-hmm.
on, caretakers and all that. It might be a little bit less accessible. Especially if we could get some sort of like more robust public feedback in real time. I don't know. That's kind of one of my thoughts. And yeah, I guess attendance would be a consideration too.
This is Tom. Normally I don't chime in, but to answer or to go back to Seth's question, would we be able to record that in-person meeting? Do we have the technical capability to record it and then post it?
We do, if we're able to get it hosted on, the issue is we hold these meetings on Zoom, but all of our technology in our conference rooms are set up through Teams. So there's a lot of tech wizardry that has to happen. And so as long as we can get Zoom to run through our tech, we can record it like usual. But that doesn't always run smoothly. So I guess in answer to your question, Tom, we have by the hair of our chins in the past, but I can't guarantee that we'd be able to.
Yeah. I was just
with the skin of our teeth. I don't know.
No, I totally get it. Yeah, I just wanted to go
analogy.
back to make sure that we answered
Yeah.
Seth's question as far as recording a live meeting,
Mhm.
because I agree with you. Sketchy at best.
This is Jordan. I guess to add to that, if it were fully in person, where it didn't matter what platform we were using just to record, could we use Teams to like record the fully
Yeah.
in-person meeting and then
Mhm.
post that?
Yeah, as long as we weren't allowing that, like that wasn't a hybrid
Right,
outlet.
right.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
This is Lynn. Sounds like we need to do some tech consults. I think recording a fully in-person meeting is probably the least complicated tech challenge. The hybrid, it gets way technical really quickly, but as Michaela commented, trying to get Zoom to behave with a Teams-enabled web conferencing setup, we need a little tech consult on. Just recording a 100% in person, I think, would be the easiest of the potential tech challenges, because we're not contingent on that being connected to the outside world. You're just literally recording what's in the room. All right, that's my tech piece. I'm gonna
Would you all feel okay with doing a virtual meeting in September, and then we could have a little bit more time to lay out the options for you all? And maybe you could consider the question of having hybrid or in-person meetings, along with the question of how do we create space for more public engagement?
I think that would be, this is Alicia. I think that would be a great idea. So I guess when November comes, that would be the gathering, maybe.
Yes.
Yes.
So we'll put those two items on our agenda for sure. Hopefully allow you all some time to meet the new council members that have been appointed. And then if anyone else has any other thoughts for the agenda between now and mid-September, feel free to give me or Jordan or Lynn a call or an email, or reach out to Alicia or Jessica as one of your co-chairs. All right, back to you, Alicia and Jessica, to close out the meeting.
I had a quick question.
Go ahead.
For the orientation for the new members, you, it's good if we can be there too, right?
Yeah, that would be great. We haven't scheduled it yet, but we will let y'all know.
I know, but I just wanted to bring that up, because I remember for people to be aware of.
Oh, wonderful. Yep. Thank you, Jessica.
Because we won't have a meeting before that.
Perfect. Yeah, that'll probably be sometime in late August, early September. Do you think, Lynn and Jordan?
This is Jordan. Yeah, we haven't scheduled it yet. Sometimes it's a bit of a bear to get everyone's schedule lined up nicely to do an orientation. So usually we'll kind of work with the new onboarding folks to make sure they all can make it. And then I think at that point, if current council members want to join and meet folks, we can share out that date, and hopefully you're available.
I just wanted to bring up the idea for everybody to kind of think about, because I know when I came on, there was a couple, like 3 or 4 people, I think, from the council that were there too. So I just want to bring that up, because we're not going to have a meeting before then.
Yep. It won't be an official.
Yeah.
We can't discuss official business.
Yeah.
Since it's not a public meeting, but I think it's really valuable to have current members there to help welcome the newly appointed members. So we'll definitely be in touch with that. Thanks for raising that, Jessica. Appreciate
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, everyone. So it is 2:59. Thank you for stretching out those last few minutes. You guys are great. So without further ado, if someone would like to motion for us to adjourn.
This is Seth. I motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? And if not, I will second.
This is Jessica. I will second.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I hope you have a wonderful remaining of your summer. See you soon.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.